I played Cozy Grove Camp Spirit for over 30 hours, and I'm here to help you decide if this is gonna be the right game for you. We're gonna go through all of the good and the flaws that I haven't seen anybody else address. You know, I love videos like this where I feel like everything is just coming full circle. The first Cozy Grove was one of the very first games I ever reviewed on this channel 5 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. And today, to be making a before you buy for it sequel Camp Spirit is extra special. For full transparency, I want to take you to behind the scenes. This video is sponsored by Spryfox, and if you're new here and you don't know how we do things on the channel, I always request full editorial freedom. That means that I don't want the studio to tell me what I'm supposed to tell you and what I cannot tell you. I'm always gonna let you know how I feel. And I'm so happy to see that the studio was more than happy to also uphold the standards that I have kept as a promise on this channel. So as you can see here, this is a little snippet from the email that I've sent to them when we were talking about this potential collab. I've also played the game when it was a Netflix exclusive and I loved it, but I really wanted to play it on the Switch too, and I know many of you felt the same way. So this was the perfect chance for me to start a fresh save and share it with you. As such, all of the footage that you're seeing here is from my Nintendo Switch 2 experience, but the game is also available on Steam, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. I'll leave the link for you below the like button if you want to take a look. So the first thing you have to be aware of is you don't have to play the first game to enjoy this one. While some familiar faces are going to show up, this is still a standalone story. Second is that this game is meant to be played every single day in bite-sized sessions, which I understand can be a turnoff for some of you. Personally, I've mentioned before, I adore games like this. As much as I love no-lifing a game at times, sometimes I just want a game that I can log into daily and just chill with. This is why games like Cozy Grove, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, and Tomodachi Life just resonate with me in a different way. With that said, you can choose the type of day and night cycle that you want by choosing perpetual daylight or night if you want your game to always be set during the daytime or nighttime. But if you're like me and you prefer a more balanced cycle, then you can go with the natural cycle. Similar to games like Animal Crossing, Cozy Grove Camp Spirit is going to sync up with your real-life time. When you start, you can customize your character, you can choose your hair, your eyes, and your skin tone. It's limited in the beginning, especially when it comes to clothes, but you're gonna unlock more as you play. However, as I always say in these games, I wish there's more options for curly hairstyles, maybe something like this when I have my hair more wavy, or when my hair is in more of its like natural curly style. Now, without spoiling things, let's talk a little bit about the story. Your bus is gonna come crashing down and you find yourself in this haunted campsite with bear ghosts all around. So you're gonna be here helping them in their afterlife. How? This is where the gameplay loop is gonna unfold. Sorry if my English is just all over the place. I've been in Lebanon for the past 40 days, so I've been speaking Arabic the whole time, and now I'm trying to speak English again, and I'm just like, what is English? Anyways, what you're gonna be doing in this game is you're gonna seek out Flamey. It's this campfire here, and it's always gonna request logs from you in order to grow and expand the light of your camp. You see, you're a spirit scout, and once again, just like the first game, you've been lost in what seems to be an interdimensional camp full of the bear spirits that I told you about. In the beginning, everything is gonna be gray and gloomy, but you're gonna be bringing the change back as you learn more about the bears' stories. You're gonna help them, and gradually you're gonna add light and color back to the camp. Every time you help a bear, they're gonna supply you with one of the logs, they're gonna share light and color, and you're gonna gain hearts with them. Once you've gained enough hearts, you're gonna complete a story chapter, and the bear's gonna show you a flashback from their previous life, because these bears have no idea how they ended up in the afterlife, and they also have some unfinished business. In a sense, this premise is very similar to Spiritfarer if you played it before. Now, the quests are mostly fetch quests. A bear will almost always ask you to either craft something or find something. Now, I find these loops either extremely boring or extremely fun depending on the pacing. With Cozy Grove Camp Spirit, similar to the first game, the progression for unlocking new gameplay mechanics, story segments, expanding the camp, meeting new bears, exploring new areas, to name a few, these all make the fetch quests very fun because I'm always getting rewarded for it. Everything is also very easy to navigate. You have this quest log here that's gonna tell you what to do next. You have this machine that gives you hints if you ever feel like you don't know where to go next. And you have Flamey, which is always gonna tell you if it can sense an extra log from a bear for the day, or if you've exhausted all the conversations, meaning you're gonna have to log in the next day to continue your play session. But don't worry, even if if you don't have any more logs for the day, you can still gather resources, you can fish, catch bugs, etc. So what are some of the gameplay loops that you're gonna be enjoying? Apart from helping the bears and expanding to new areas, there's so much to do here. If you're a completionist, you're gonna realize that there is so much for you to find, unlock, grow, and overall collect, all for this little guy here called Tallow. Every time you turn in something new, he's gonna archive it and give you rewards for it. You can also catch bugs, you can go fishing, both of which are very easy to do. You can throw these skipping rocks at the shelves here to get some items. You can grow trees and bushes for new fruits and spices. You can gather these very cute pets, which are gonna give you bird essence that you can craft with. You can expand your tent, which you can fully decorate, by the way, and you can decorate the entire camp to your liking. The camera can be zoomed in and out but not rotated, but it's done in a way that didn't trigger my motion sickness, which I am so happy to see. As for the items, they can be rotated at 90-degree angles, but I really wish we had 45-degree increments too. And one thing that might frustrate you is that when you place things close together, it's gonna be hard to interact with what you actually want to interact with. So sometimes you're gonna be a few clicks away until you interact with the thing that you wanted to interact with. But here's what surprised me the most. On the Nintendo Switch, the game is using the touchscreen. This is a feature that I feel like so many studios skip on. Even games that have been a mobile port before, for some reason, they just don't make use of the touchscreen. So this was really good to see here. Apart from that, you have plenty of decoration items, clothes, and accessories to choose from. You're gonna constantly unlock badges and rewards, including coins, quartz, and bird essences, all of which you can use to craft even more clothing items, tools, and decorations. As for the pets in the bushes and trees that I've told you about, they have specific needs. Some are gonna like certain things, and others are gonna hate being surrounded by things that they don't like. For example, this bird here doesn't like common objects, so I have to be aware of what items I place near it. And if I place the right stuff, then I'm gonna gain extra hearts and resources. And sometimes they're also gonna request certain food and give me resources in return. All of these resources are gonna be needed to either craft or buy new items from Kit the Fox. Now, with the gameplay loop out of the way and a lot of the good out of the way, there are a few things that I think you need to be aware of, things that I haven't seen anybody else mention. Performance-wise, Cozy Grove Camp Spirit is running great on the Nintendo Switch, but there is a consistent issue that I have seen, which is this frame rate drop here whenever I give Flamey a log. It happens for a second, and not once did I give Flamey a log and not have this happen. It's not immersion breaking, but I think it's very important for you to know. Another thing is that your tools can break, which in my opinion is an unnecessary addition. It takes a second to fix at the recycling machine, but I feel like it adds tedium. I'm not sure why it's added in the game. Now, there is no voice acting, which I don't mind, and the bears make this very cute sound effect when they speak. Every time you interact with them, you can choose different dialogue options to respond with, but as far as I can tell, nothing you say is gonna make them dislike you. And on the topic, even though the term cozy is in this game's name, many of the bears' paths are not so cozy. I highly encourage you to check the game's sensitivity tags because many of the topics are very heavy and they're gonna make you feel very sad, just like the first game. Also, this game is very repetitive and it's very heavy on the grind. For example, to buy a backpack expansion for the first time, it's gonna cost you 5k coins. Then it quickly jumps to 45k. Thankfully, upgrading your tent gives you storage space, and the upgrade costs are a lot more bearable. See what I did there? And you can also sell a lot of the items to make coins, so it's easy to mitigate. As for the gameplay loop, it's simple. You're gonna log in, talk to the bears, complete their fetch quests, you're gonna give Flamey the logs, craft, decorate, rinse, and repeat. I'm a sucker for a gameplay loop like this, but I know not everyone is gonna be the same. I also want to address some of the lack of quality of life features that I've noticed. For instance, if you play like me and you usually like to get as many quests done before you turn in all of the logs to Flamey, you're gonna wish there's an option to turn in all of them in bulk rather than sharing them one by one and seeing the same dialogue of "I sense one more log is in your backpack." Another example is when buying things from Kit. It would be awesome if I can see how many resources I have, so I know if it's okay to buy something rather than just going crazy with my purchases, not knowing how much I have left, or having to constantly leave the interaction, checking my inventory, then going back to interact with Kit so that I can access the log again. And speaking of making purchases, if you try to buy a backpack upgrade and your inventory is full, which is going to happen frustratingly often in the beginning, you're not going to be able to do the upgrade unless you have one space open, which is pretty odd for me. On top of that, I think adding the ability to stack objects when placing stuff in Flamey's inventory is much needed. With all of that out of the way, let's talk a little bit more about the fun factors and a little bit more gameplay loops that you can expect. And I think the biggest fun here is just restoring the color back to the camp and seeing coins popping up everywhere. It just never stopped being satisfying. You can also use these light sources to connect areas together and spread even more light and color. I also love the looks of the bears. They all have shapes that have some kind of designation to their previous life, and you're gonna get pretty attached to them. There's also this mailbox here, which is gonna give you plenty of gifts, but this is also where you can add IRL friends and send them gifts to support them. As you play, you're gonna constantly find yourself digging up mud, leaf, and stick piles, mining rocks to get resources, and sometimes when you log in, you're gonna see these other scouts around, which are gonna help you. I also like these little imps, which they're gonna always run away if you try to run into them. Other ones you can chase down because they've stolen items from the bears, but sometimes they're also gonna ask for food, which you can cook using the stove or by burning things with Flamey. And eventually you're gonna get other pet companions that will actually follow you around, and yes, you can pet them. And one last thing, I cannot praise the devs enough for yet another beautiful soundtrack. It's impeccable. Now, if you're new here, my favorite way of letting you know if a game is going to be for you is breaking it down with my signature, this game is for you if, not for you if, and my verdict. This has been an excellent format for me because rather than giving you a score, I actually let you know if this game is for you, regardless of whether I like or dislike a game. But before we get into that, hello, you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. I'm so happy to be back. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I did it again, didn't I? And if you enjoy RPGs, cozy games, farming games, and the like, make sure to squish the like and subscribe buttons because I have so much content prepared for you. So, Cozy Grove Camp Spirit is the game for you if you are a completionist, if you love crafting loads of items, if you love learning new recipes, gathering all items in a game and actually being rewarded for it, if you enjoy decorating, and it's also for you if you love repetitive tasks, playing daily, and having a story-driven game. However, it's not for you if you hate fetch quests, if you don't like sensitive stories and topics in your cozy game, and if you're turned off by repetitive gameplay loops. As for me, I really enjoyed this game. I was having a lot of fun playing it in Lebanon. It became part of my daily routine every day, going out with my sister and my family and loved ones, having fun, and then coming back home and playing this one along with two others that I'm going to talk about later. I think it has a very specific target audience, and if you resonate with it, it can become one of your absolute favorites. I'm still not finished with the story. I have 30 hours in, so I've got a bit more to go, but I cannot wait to play more. But I'm really curious to know if you've played the first one and if you're interested in this one, so let me know. And remember, you can grab the game for yourself by checking the link right below the like button. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible, and a shout out goes to the Game Dimension, Stella, Faye, John, Jake Logan, Blessing, Charming Kara, Fufe, Andrew, Cookie, and Just a Small Bean for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.